Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a chill day today. In this video, I'm going to be covering Osmosis. Osmosis is an automated market maker protocol built using the Cosmos SDK. And since they can turn on the inter-blockchain communication protocol, otherwise known as IBC, they'll easily be able to support assets with other chains that were built using Cosmos SDK. In fact, they recently added a UST and Luna pool. And given that they're already leaders in terms of total value locked, I think that lead will continue to grow over time. And so for those reasons and more, I think it's a great time to add liquidity in order to extract maximum value from the growth and success of Osmosis. And so in this video, I'll show you guys the pools that I'm personally farming and also cover what I think is likely to be the outcome heading into 2022. And if you guys want to learn about these opportunities very early, for example, I was telling people about Osmosis the day it came out, and the first place I mentioned it was in my newsletter. And every week on Saturdays, I'll cover yield opportunities. On Sundays, I'll cover the general market news, my market outlook, some of the moves that I'm personally making. And on Mondays, I've partnered with a friend in real life to cover centralized lending platforms like BlockFi and Crypto.com. If you guys would be interested in subscribing to the newsletter, click the Substack link in the description below and enter your email address. With the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this video. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. So these are all the pools that are available on Osmosis. And if you guys wanted to see the prices of the individual tokens or look at the statistics, you can easily navigate to this page by clicking here on stats. And here you can see that the aggregate liquidity across all the pools is almost $600 million. And as they support more pools for quality projects, I think we're going to see this TVL jump all the way to $10 billion in the future. A few tokens that I think that are really going to be helpful in terms of their TVL growing are going to be Cosmos, CRO, and Luna. And if you follow my work, you know I've been talking about Luna since it was under $1, and I've been talking about CRO since it was 3 to 5 cents. And with Crypto.com launching Chronos, enabling people to yield farm, I think we're going to see massive growth for them heading into 2022. And I also think we're going to see the same play out for Luna with all the projects that they have launching on that chain. And also they have this deflationary mechanism that aligns the token value to the growth of the network. And since a lot of these quality projects are building using Cosmos' SDK, I think it's just a matter of time before we see Atom go on an absolute tear. So that's basically a grossly simplified version of my thesis for those three chains. And the reason I covered that is because most of my liquidity is locked into those pools. So I have liquidity in the CRO/Osmo pool, I have liquidity in the Atom/Osmo pool, and I have liquidity in the Luna/Osmo pool. I do have a little bit of liquidity in various miscellaneous pools, but the lion's share of it is in those three, and out of those three, I have most of my money in this pool here, in the Luna/Osmo pool. And if you look at the yield, there's actually 3 different yields you can get on. You can get 64%, 102%, and 128%. Unlike traditional or conventional liquidity mining opportunities with automated market makers, Osmosis imposes an unbonding period. So if you provide liquidity, you have to wait at a minimum of 1 day before withdrawing it. But if you're open to waiting 7 to 14 days, they'll reward you with a higher yield. So me personally, for all the liquidity that I provided, I put it into this pool here in the middle, which requires a 7-day unbonding period. And I actually think this is a good idea. In fact, it's part of the reason why I'm bullish on Osmosis, because it reduces selling reflexivity. So let's say the token takes a dump, or let's say a whale begins dumping the token. If other people also want to sell, they have to wait at least 1 to 14 days before they're able to sell. So that mechanism could potentially reduce the sell side pressure when the token starts to fall in value. But on the other hand, you also have people that are yield farming and accumulating Osmo tokens on the side, plus you have Osmo tokens staked with validators, which could in theory add some selling pressure, but most of the inflation or the emissions are going to be coming out of the pools. Now the big risk that you have by, let's say, choosing the Osmo pairing with these tokens is that because there's this high emission rate, even if, let's say, Atom goes up in price, a poor performance by Osmo could weigh on the total value of your LP token going up. And by LP token, I'm basically referring to the dollar value of the liquidity that you added to the pool. But on the other hand, if your deepest pools are paired with tokens that go up in value, they're going to take Osmo up with them. And if you look here, the number one in terms of liquidity is the Atom/Osmo pool. And so for that reason, I expect to see a very strong correlation between the price of the Atom token and the Osmo token moving forward. And currently the only place that you can purchase Osmo is on Osmosis. And that reinforces the point that I just made about Osmo being very correlated to the price of the Atom token. And to demonstrate the point, look at the price of Atom over the last 30 days. And now let's take a look at the price of Osmo over the last 30 days. You can see that there's a very strong correlation between the two. And so because of that correlation, the liquidity that I provided to this pool here, Luna/Osmo, has only modestly benefited from Luna's recent big move up. But I'm totally fine with that because I think in Q1, perhaps even extending into Q2, we should see a pretty good performance by Atom. And if and when that happens, the value of all the pools that I have currently are going to go up, plus all the Osmo tokens that I've earned are also going to appreciate in value. And currently with the total deposit that I have, I'm earning roughly $450 to $500 a day. Personally, with my total net worth and my knowledge of the space, I'm okay with taking on that risk. And I think if my thesis or outlook is validated, I should be able to produce phenomenal returns. And in one of my recent videos, I showed you guys how to send funds from Osmosis over to the Crypto.com app. And if you guys end up depositing liquidity on Osmosis, I'll include a link to it in the description below. But basically what I do is I sell my Osmosis into CRO tokens and I send them to my Crypto.com app. But in addition to using all the profits that I make here to load up my Crypto.com app and spend money on Grubhub, I also take a portion of it and I stake it in a validator node. You can select from any one of these nodes, and I won't be covering the nuances between these nodes, but based on your preference, you can select any one of these. But understand that if you end up delegating your Osmo tokens to one of these nodes, there is a 14-day unbonding period. And I also take a portion of my Osmo tokens and I put them back into pools that I'm very bullish on. So that includes, of course, Atom, Luna, and the CRO token pools. But within the last couple months, I also added a little bit to the Juno pool because they had dual liquidity mining incentives. And the plan is anytime they add a pool that I'm very bullish on, I'm going to compound my yield farming profits by providing liquidity to that pool. Now I'm going to shift the conversation over to talking about what I think is going to transpire in the upcoming quarters. And to illustrate the point, I'm going to use Binance Smart Chain as the example. When the Binance Smart Chain launched with PancakeSwap around the end of summer to fall time, a lot of prominent people in the space just wrote it off. But during that time, you could have provided liquidity to the BNB/Cake pair on PancakeSwap, during which time the yield was 300+%. And so imagine the implication of that. You provide liquidity to Cake/BNB that's giving you triple-digit yield. You take that Cake token, you put it into the Cake pool that compounds your Cake yield, which is also in the triple-digit range. And imagine doing this for 3 to 4 months leading up to January. Cake went from 30 cents all the way to $40. BNB, on the other hand, went from $38 all the way to $625, which is a 20x gain. So not only would have your LP position gone up significantly in value, you would have made a killing just on the fees that you collected from the pool, and all the Cake that you earned during that time would have gone up by a factor of over 100. And if you look at the TVL around the time that the prices took off, the TVL was actually less than 500 million. It was around 100 million or so. Now it's difficult to approximate exactly where we are in the growth stage of Osmosis and Cosmos, but in my opinion, we're still in the very early innings. And the reason I want to emphasize that is that it's easy to say that you would have gotten exposure back around here. And if you take a closer look here, you can see that it wasn't a straight shot to the moon. We did have some volatility before it started going up only. So we can't expect Osmo to just continuously go up. Depending on your entry, you may be at a short-term loss, but if your long-term outlook is aligned with my own, and Atom, let's say, ends up hitting $100 to $200, I suspect that Osmo is going to go up in tandem with it. And in fact, I'm not the only one that's taking a bet out on Osmos. You also have Paradigm, which closed a $21 million token sale with the Osmosis Foundation. I mean, just take a look at Paradigm's past investments. Argent Wallet, BlockFi, Coinbase, Fireblocks, FTX, Genesis Digital Assets, Open, Parallel, Stockware, Synthetics, Uniswap. Osmosis is the first AMM investment that they've made outside the Ethereum ecosystem. And if you listen to some of the podcasts that these VC guys end up on, you can clearly tell that they're opening up to a multi-chain future, a future where there's significant economic activity outside of Ethereum. And as a result, I think we're going to see a huge amount of capital flow into other layer 1 chains outside of the Ethereum ecosystem. And just like PancakeSwap, Osmosis has first mover advantage. So whenever there's an IBC active chain out there that's looking for an alternative liquidity source, or in other words, a place to list their token so more people have access to it, they're likely to come over here to Osmosis. And so I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but when it does happen, I'm anticipating exponential growth. And so for that reason, I think Osmosis is one of the best kept secrets in the crypto space. And so if my outlook resonates with you and you guys wanted to get started, the first thing you're going to want to do is download the Kepler wallet. I've done a full video review on the Kepler wallet. I encourage you guys to check out the video review by clicking the upper right hand corner of your screen or clicking the link in the description box below. And I also encourage you guys to watch my previous video that I did on the Cronos network, because I actually removed my Crow/Atom LP that I had in Osmosis just recently, and I shifted it over here to VVS on the Cronos chain because I'm getting a slightly higher APR. And with Cronos, I don't have an unbonding period. So for that reason, I decided to at least temporarily shift over my LP pair of Crow/Atom over to VVS Finance. And that's another video that I'll include in the description below for you guys if you guys are interested in this opportunity. And for those of you guys that have been watching the video until this point, if you guys wanted to whitelist for my project that's coming out in Q1, just join the Samurai Monkey Discord, send me a direct message stating that you watched the video on Osmosis and you would like to whitelist for the mint. Personally, I'm very excited about the project because I think DeFi, GameFi, and the metaverse are going to accrue more and more value over time. Not only are they the hottest themes of this market cycle, I think these themes are here to stay. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the capital that we raise from the mint to farm for yield in DeFi, and we're going to redirect a portion of that yield to purchasing in-game assets, digital real estate in the metaverse, with the focus being purchasing assets that have a potential to produce yield. And sometime down in the future, once we have sustained yield coming in, I want to make disbursements to Samurai Monkey NFT holders. But if you mint and you get involved early, not only does it increase your odds of getting a bigger role within the DAO, but you're going to be around a lot of quality people that have been in DeFi for a long time, and you're going to be around people that have very robust networks. And so just being in their proximity, I think you guys are going to benefit a lot from their knowledge and all the alpha that they end up sharing with everybody in the DAO. Well, that pretty much ends the video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. This is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.